War Eagle Auburn family, and welcome back to another E2C Network Live, our Wednesday night Auburn family live stream where we cover the whole of the Auburn experience. Always heavy on the Auburn sports, but we will get into anything and everything that you would like to discuss here on these Wednesday night live shows, if I can get the word out of my mouth. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you are watching here live or you are watching on the replay, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, however you got here. We appreciate you spending some time with us on our Wednesday night live streams, where it is all about you, your comments, your questions, your calls. This is your show. It's a little bit unconventional on YouTube. Usually they want you to have a topic scheduled, ready to talk about. But, we have forgone that traditional format to make this show about you and what you want to discuss here on these live streams. There's a lot going on in Auburn athletics right now, especially with a brand new commitment for the football team, a brand new commitment for the basketball team. Basketball's in Israel. We're just around the corner from fall practice. We are got a lot of things really getting started here in terms of Auburn sports, but we don't even have to cover sports now. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about here on our Wednesday night live show. Before we do all that, though, please do make sure you do a couple things for us. If you like this type of content, smash that like button. It does help us out. Retweet button on Facebook, or excuse me, on Twitter. Share button on Facebook. Share it into a Facebook group. Any of that you can do right now, just a simple click of a button helps us out, helps us grow our little family in the Auburn family, and helps people know that we are live and that they can be part of the show tonight. We'll talk about in just a second. We'll open up the phone lines, tell you how you can do all that in just a little bit. But right now is our check-in period. Lots of you are already doing it. Post where you're watching from, city, state, international. Want to know who's checking in from where. We usually get a lot of representation from Alabama, Georgia, the rest of the Southeast. But every once in a while, we get some people like in Montana, Iowa, Ohio, just all over the place. People here that are part of the Auburn family. So, as I said, we will open up the floor to topics that you all want to discuss here. I will probably hit some of those as we kind of get started, some overall thoughts on those. I do want to bring your attention to, I did just release a video about the brand new commit that we just have for football, the new edge rusher in Ashley Williams. So please do go check that out if you haven't after the show, obviously. But that's one thing that we've just put out for you that I'd love for you to do that. So we are going to open up the phone lines now, and it is all thanks to our friends at All Things Auburn. We will talk a little about them in just a little bit. But as always, they bring to you this show, and they bring to you the call-in link that you can take part in. Just hit that link. You don't have to be on camera. It can be off camera. It's whatever you'd like to take part in, however you'd like to take part in the call-in process. Don't be shy. I don't bite too hard. It's a easy process, and we love hearing from some of y'all tonight. We'll kind of bounce around with what our callers want to talk about, but also what you're writing in the chat. Let's say hello to a couple of people. Got Carrie Yang here, Thomas. Good to see you from Leeds. John Stokes, Rob Donaldson from the Huntsville office. Corey from Pluto. John Brown. I want to give John Brown in Mobile a shout out. John Brown, I just saw, my friend, that you became a channel member, and I wish I had a high-tech system where I could do like a yay thing. So thank you, sir. And I see the icon next to your name. Thank you for doing that and being a supporter of what we do here. Very much appreciated. So thanks to John. Thomas, glad you enjoyed that video. A lot of you need to go check that out if you haven't. There's some good vibes around Auburn recruiting right now. And that's kind of maybe where we can start until someone calls in or we want to switch gears a little bit. Brand new recruit signed up with the football team. Their sixth commit of the year so far. If you notice, when I was doing the videos, I would title them as, the sixth, the fourth commit, the fifth commit. I kind of stopped doing that because what's going to happen is someone's going to decommit. It's going to happen. Just prepare yourself. And then things are out of order. It's all a learning process with this stuff, because it'd be really awkward if someone decommits and then it's like the 20th commit, but it's really the 19th commit because somebody dropped out at some point. That is coming. Just as easily as we can flip people can flip them from us. Very easy for them to do that if the situation is not right. But thankfully, the Tigers are on the receiving end of this flipping for this particular recruit in Ashley Williams. Now, I think a lot of us knew this was coming. A lot of us expected this. We just didn't know a timeline of when. It caught me a little bit off guard today, which is why we were a little late and even getting a social media post about it. I was in the middle of some other things. And of course, that's when they drop or he decides to announce his commitment. And I believe Auburn is in line for someone on Friday as well. I have it in my calendar. Let me pull it up here and make sure I have that correct. Connor Liu, offensive tackle, I believe, is, at least last I checked, supposedly predicted for the Auburn Tigers. So could be a great week overall in recruiting for basketball, for football, with the addition of a guard, but probably a point guard for basketball. Doing some great things right now. So it looks as though we're going to get 2 quarterbacks for 24. So no biggie if we don't get a quarterback for 23. Yeah, listen, you always want to try to get a quarterback in every recruiting class if you can, just because, you never know. It's kind of one of those things outside of kicker, punter. You want to try to get one every single year because things change so often. It's especially with the transfer portal now. So it would not shock me to get 2 quarterbacks there. And I would also say it wouldn't shock me for us not to take a quarterback this year, but it also wouldn't shock me for us to pick up last minute. Not to say that Jonathan Wallace wasn't a valuable part of the team, but I mean, I think we all understood that he wasn't, at least shouldn't have been the legitimate starter for us at times, because we thought we had better options. He was someone that they picked up late because they had room, and because if in a pinch we needed somebody, he could step up and be serviceable, and he was. So that is very much, the scheme with which you go after quarterbacks. So we'll see what happens with how they decide to proceed forward with that. It would shock me if we won the Natty this year. Well, get ready to be color shocked. No, I'm kidding. Thomas reminds us that players report tomorrow. Fall camp starts Friday. Media gets 20 minutes Friday. Football is upon us. Yeah. Can I be honest with you? I missed the memo that it was starting Friday. I know they report tomorrow, but usually there's a big to do about this, like an announcement of the schedule, and I just missed it this year. I knew it was coming because we talked about it on previous live streams, but I just went, and normally there's a big to do about the schedule, and that has not. I have not grasped that this year, but happy that it is starting. So yes, tomorrow we'll be seeing the reports or the videos they'll be putting out of them going into the meeting room for the first time, getting their assignments and things like that. But that practice starting Friday, it's going to be a big day. It means that football is one small, minute forward towards kickoff. So small, but we're so close from it being here. And I'm excited. About it. Jamunka? Oh, what's going on there? Hopefully that's not something I shouldn't have said, but I don't know what's Unbeaten Lake is typing in there. So excited for that. This has been, one of the more fun weeks throughout the summer with the recruits deciding for football and basketball, but also with the prospect of football starting. So we're all going to be sitting on pins and needles, looking at those first quarterback drills that we see, if we see any at all, and analyzing and saying Zach Calzada is the best thing since sliced bread in practice. In all seriousness, though, I think we all know where this is heading. My video prediction for starting quarterback is probably going to be not as eventful. You'll probably be more interested in my percentage confidence more than anything else. Leave it to the former Auburn band geek to bring it up. What's even more exciting about Auburn is Auburn marching band amphitheater night at 7:30. I say that in loving to Autumn. Autumn and I know each other very well, and she is a Auburn band geek, former Auburn band geek. I listen, if I lived in Auburn, I would be at some of these practices just so I could hear them, or I'd find myself in the middle of the street somewhere outside where they're practicing, just so I could faintly hear the whispering sounds of the greatest band in the land. I know that's someone else's slogan, but hey. Dusty checking in. Good to see you. War Eagle from Pensacola, Florida. I was just in Florida for my last vacation, and it was lovely. I miss it already. It's never enough at the beach, and saw a lot of Auburn fans down there. Got a lot of War Eagles in very, very quick passing, but it was a good time down there. But I'm ready to get this fall started, this athletics athletics calendar year started, and diving into some of these things that we normally do here. We did some of that with our live stream of the basketball game in Israel. We'll be doing that again this Sunday and Monday. So I hope you guys are ready for those. I am excited. We had a really great turnout for that. So we'll be doing that at some point. Unbeaten Lake, I was concerned you were having like a stroke or something with what you typed there. So I didn't bring it up. I didn't know if it was some like hidden signal thing. I know you well, I don't know you personally, obviously, but on here, I was like, he surely is not posting something super cryptic and weird. Just maybe had a little bit of a brain fart there. Rob says, I'm going in with low expectations. Going to be a great season. It's not that I think you should go in with low expectations. I think you should go in with tempered expectations, understanding the context within which we are working. A team that has been through literal HE double hockey sticks and back this off season, still dealing with the changeover pangs from a regime change. That doesn't happen in one season. That doesn't happen in 2 seasons, really. But I think when we get, we're sitting here now in August, the very beginning, when we're getting to the end of December, after conference championship games are over and we're in the middle of bowl season, we'll all kind of sit back and go, you know what? This was much better than a lot of us hoped it would be. I believe that. I think we're going to have a season that's going to surprise a lot of folks, not because of we're going to have some 10-2 record or anything like that, just because people are not expecting much out of us. So I think that's what's going to be surprising. I think we'll be competitive in almost every game, if not all of them. Very, very excited. Kyle, do you have any info on Adrian Passe? Is it Passe or Passe? I don't. Obviously, those 2 commitments are for 2024, and I was on vacation when they happened, so we haven't been able to put out a video about them. I have been debating, honestly, whether I should make a video for them yet, for each of those 2, Amon Lane as well. Obviously, it's been a little bit busy with the new commitment today, maybe another one Friday, and I had a video I was trying to get started on for the rest of y'all this week for something not even related to those things, but yeah, we'll see. In terms of info, I don't have any other than it seems a lot of people are excited about that. And if you think about Adrian and what he's going to mean, let's just go with what everybody seems to think. Zach Calzada starts this year. You're probably going to see TJ Finley, if he doesn't leave, finish his career out. So that kind of eliminates those 2 off the board at some point. Then you've got Robbie Ashford. You've got Holden Gurner. You're probably looking at a situation where Adrian's probably not going to start for quite some time, but hopefully maybe by the time he's a sophomore, have a shot at starting or a shot at the starting job. Thomas says, I think we got a good chance of flipping Bo Hewley from UGA. I've seen that as well. The fans trashed this kid after he attended Big Cat Weekend. Yeah, listen, always remember that the kids are watching, that they are paying attention to what you say online. So be careful what you participate in, because they will remember that. Not to say that kids are soft or kids are being a little petty, but would you want to go somewhere that's people are saying these type of things about you just because you went to go see other options? You got to understand that's how it works. But that's par for the course with the majority of UGA fans that I meet. Not all, but the majority. Autumn with a baseball question. Have or will Chandler and Jace record an episode about Huddy leaving and adding Coach Rock? Well, remember, Chandler and Jace are basketball now. I don't know if you knew that. They are doing basketball for us. They have stepped in to Inside the Jungle. We appreciated Gray and Chris Oldenburg for doing that this past season for us, but they have moved off to some other opportunities. Very happy for them. And so now we've got Chandler and them in the stead. So if anybody else wants to cover baseball, let me know. We're going to cover baseball here and on the podcast when we can, but without someone dedicated to it, we won't have like a regular show. But I would love, if someone wanted to do an episode about that, put one together for us, and we will give you a platform for it. Linda checking in from Lake Martin, always jealous of that. Would love to be there. Imani thinks we're going to be undefeated. Almost tipped that over. That was not going to be good. As always, Imani, you are, I think I remember this about you the most, that you are, somebody else, but proverbially optimistic about those things. And I hope you are right. I really do. Corey, I'm not going in with the expectation that we'll finish dead last behind Vanny. I don't know what those beat writers have been smoking. Yeah, I know I've got my orange and blue glasses on. If I'm a beat writer, I don't put Auburn outside of extenuating circumstances. Even after this year, I would never put Auburn any lower than 4 personally, because the likelihood of them being 4th in the division or higher is very, very high. Because you really think about it, it's Alabama, LSU, and Texas A&M that are going to be the perennial competition for that spot. You're going to have an Arkansas, you're going to have an Ole Miss that get up there every once in a while like they are now. It's not going to shake out the way that everybody thinks it's going to. I will go ahead and say Auburn ends no worse than 4th. No worse than 4th in the Western Division. Let's see here. Am I recording a video about Coach Rock? Don't hold me to that. There's a lot of other things I have on my schedule that I need to get done that is not high on the priority list. Here, I'll pull the curtain back a little bit for you guys, and we have our first caller here, so we'll say hello to him in just a second. There's this balance that we have to have as YouTube creators where, like, if it's not something that a lot of people will watch, it hurts your channel. And unfortunately, outside of baseball season, a lot of people don't pay attention to Auburn baseball. And I wish that wasn't the way it is. So I kind of have to temper how much I put on at certain points in the year. I hate that it has to be that way, and I don't want to be just like everybody else, but I kind of have to find that balance. So since the Coach Rock stuff happened a couple of days ago, it's probably already lost its fervor for people, So I would say probably not Autumn, but I never say never. You never know. Dusty says, I know you'll do baseball. You just let me know when you want to do it, man. You just let me know. Did any Auburn recruits get drafted? Rob says, are you asking about... Oh, you're asking about baseball. I actually don't know that. I think I read where 1 or 2 did. We'll see what happens in terms of if they actually follow through with it. There's Clint. Good to see you, Clint. All right. Let's go ahead and say hello to our first caller. He's been waiting in the green room, so to speak, or the orange room is what we should call it. Let's say hello to Mr. Thomas Manville.
How are y'all this evening?
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Had a great day. Got to do some fishing. It was worth the sunburn.
Oh, I bet. You and I are both, you can't really tell, but I've got a little bit of right around here, I got sunburn at the beach. I do not tan. I've found that out. No, there's no amount of sunscreen, no amount of whatever protectant you can put on in those scenarios. I will turn red. I do not tan. So I get the feeling. Oh, Thomas, we got a little bit of connection issue. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
There you go. We're back now. We're back. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm one of the lucky few that once I burn, it turns tan, so I'll take it.
I don't even get that. So it's just burn, and then you suffer for a few days. So I can still, it's almost like you can still feel the heat radiating off me a little bit. That's probably why the orange almost looks a little bit red at sometimes when I in the shadows, because I'm just radiating heat at this point. But anyway, you did not come here to talk about my sunburns. What's on your mind?
Yeah, you're right about that, sir. Let's talk about fall camp. It's finally here.
How excited are you?
All the way excited, as much as I can be excited. It's football time.
Yes, it has been long awaited, and we still got a month to go. Truthfully, it's a month from today, but these are the final baby steps. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi says, these are your first steps towards a glorious football season.
Yes, I remember him saying that specifically. It's if you ever played football or any sports that start at the beginning of the school year or fall sports, is when you get in there to training camp and you start practicing, that's when the season starts. Because right before the first game, you kind of know what kind of team you've got and where you need to improve and what you've already got down pat. So I'm interested to see what the media comes up with the viewing periods that they get.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can go ahead and predict some things for you. Zach Calzada is the next best thing since sliced bread. And when I say that, I'm not saying that I'm disparaging him. I don't expect him to be our starter. It's just it's always fascinating to me to watch people salivate over practice drills. Let's wait and see what he does in the real reps. You know what I would say is seeing him on video looking strong with the injury that he had. That's the thing that I would find the most interest in, is just seeing no hitches, no nothing wrong with that injury wise. I think Thomas, you may be a little bit delayed again. I noticed your facial expression did not move at all. Okay. You there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You are frozen on our end. There you are. You're back. You're back.
Well, I don't know what's going on with the Google Box system, but something's wrong.
Yeah, sometimes you never know. The whole technology is a great thing till it doesn't work.
Yeah, right about that.
Still there? All right. Thomas, you're still having some issues connectivity wise. Try and call back in, buddy. If you can, try and call back in. Just restart, and we'll give it another try here in just a second. But yeah, so we'll while he tries to get those things worked out, we'll continue on with some of your comments and questions. Back to an earlier question that was brought up. Jeff Diamond, is that how you say your name? He said that there were 4 Auburn baseball players, recruits, drafted. I had a feeling that the number was higher than that, but I only could remember 2 being mentioned. So there you go. There was the answer to that question. Imani asked, I don't get why does Texas A&M get so much love, Jimbo? Ain't that great of a coach to me. How many stars a recruit got means nothing to me. Imani, I bet you wouldn't say that about our recruits. But listen, do I like Jimbo Fisher as a coach? No. Do I like him as a person? I don't know him well enough. Some of the things that I have seen make me very uneasy towards him. You can't deny with what they're putting together there recruiting wise. So I think it's some of those things. It's kind of his personality. Plus, why does he continue to be good is one of those things. But I don't think you should dismiss them all. I think they're going to be a real player in the SEC. All right, there's Thomas. Let's say hello again. Thomas, you are back? Kind of.
Well, if it keels out again, we'll just try next week.
That's all right. Well, keep going for right now. Up, and it just keeled. Up. There he is again. There you are. You're good.
All right. Round 5.
Round 5.
Yeah. But yeah, if it kicks out again, we'll just try again next week.
Fine, that's fine. It just sometimes the things just don't work out.
Yeah, it happens that way sometimes, but I'm just still excited about fall camp. I really am. I think that the media viewing period that first day, I don't think they're just going to give them all the Calzada they want, because that's all anybody's really talked about.
Exactly. Yep. I bet what we're going to get first day is some special teams drills. Other than you're going to get some individual, warm ups and stuff like that. So some special teams drill. You might see a few tosses to some wide receivers and things like that. So I think that's about all you're going to get personally.
Yeah, I think you'll be a lot of plays on air, so to speak, just kind of going through the motions.
Yep. Yeah. I'm still excited though, because it's just one of those things that it's like that small tease. It's that small taste to get me carried over to September 3rd, because let's be honest, this is going to be the longest month. It always is until that first game, because we're going to be watching every single day creep by until finally we're on game week. And then game week is just going to take forever, but then finally we'll be on campus, or some of us will. I will be, but
Right. And I'm really excited. I'm going to get to be there for the San Jose State game.
Yep. And I hate it, but I don't know that I'm going to be there at that one. It's the one that I may not make this year, because I would love to meet you in person and say hello.
Oh, absolutely. At some point, we'll get there.
Yes. Here's a question. It's kind of related to what we're talking about. To ask, do you know if fans can go to the first practice? Typically, no fans have ever gone to any true practices. Now, what Brian has done last year, he announced a fan day practice and coincide with the traditional fan day thing. No autographs, it seems like these days, with NIL and various other reasons. But I would imagine they're going to do something similar for the quote unquote last practice like they did last year. But what else on your mind? Fall camp or anything wise that you're thinking about that we haven't hit?
maybe one or two concerns of because we've kind of blown this off season up with the up and down that it has been,
Mm-hmm.
and it's natural. We're Auburn fans. We do that to ourselves every year. But one thing that there was a Love Bo crew, and then there was a didn't love Bo Nix crew,
Yeah.
and let's kind of figure out what did we lose and what did we gain. We lost a lot of mobility.
Yeah.
Now sometimes he was scrambling for his life, and it wasn't his fault, but he could scramble for his life.
Right.
So we're not going to get that 3rd and 18 scramble to get a first down or a touchdown like he did because these
Mm-hmm.
guys are different quarterbacks in a different system.
Right.
That's probably why Bo went to Oregon. It suits him.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And we've got a guy that's been there longer in TJ that has some mechanical issues, but has more time in the playbook. And then we've got Ashford that hasn't ever played a college game. And we've got Calzana. And I give him credit for the Alabama win. But
Yeah.
you need to watch the rest of their season and look at his particulars, how he does in pressure, how he does throwing to his left, to his right, on the move. There's a lot of different things to look at. I still think he's probably going to be our starter. I just do, just looking at measurables and particulars, him versus Finley. I'm not saying that Ashford's not going to play. I said it a couple weeks ago. There's going to be a package for him. He's too athletic to not have him on the field. But how well does the offensive line gel with each other? They got a lot of playing experience. If you're going to be good, this is the year to do it, please.
Mm-hmm.
And the defensive line as well. We lost some pieces here and there, but we've still got guys that can come out there and bang heads with SEC offenses. We've got those guys in positions, and we've got a little bit of depth. If our pass rush is better than it was, and I'm not saying we had a bad pass rush, there's a lot like Mississippi State. We rushed 3 guys the majority of the game. Maybe we should rush 4 in the second half. We have a new coordinator that's not afraid to do that.
Right.
I think Mason was kind of a numbers guy of, okay, we need to do this to give us the best scenario before the ball snap. I think, Schmetting's a little more, let's go hit him in the mouth. And I like that in defense. It's got more Tuberville vibes.
Yes, that's a good analogy. I like that a lot. I think that Bobo and Mason are 2 good coaches in the right situations. I thought that Mason was going to be a better fit for us than Bobo was. And I tried to kind of even be Bobo's friend for a little bit there when everybody was already getting on his case. But I was shocked the way that the Mason thing didn't work out. That was very surprising to me. But I think you're right. I think there is something to their particular types of schemes that just were complete changes to what we were already doing before. We were changing regardless to a different scheme, a different way of doing a program. It's a regime change. It always happens. But it just felt like 2 really stark changes that we really weren't prepared for, didn't have the personnel for. And I would have liked to see somewhat of a transitory period. What we're going to get a lot from this season, like it's almost like to me, this season should have happened last season, where you've got Harsin with his guys, his coaches, for the majority of them, his ideas, his schemes. And then we can take some of the things from the Malzahn era that worked to carry us over to what Harsin eventually wants to do holistically on his own. I think that's how you make a regime change work as quickly. And that clearly did not happen last year. It was like, hey, square, fit into the round hole is really what it was all about.
Right. And the big word I'll take away from what you just said is regime change. That's big. And the reason that's big is, let's see, Eric Kiesau went from an analyst to the receivers coach to the offensive coordinator in less than a year.
What a move. I mean, that's they call that baller moves, like just my man is just making moves.
He's doing something right.
I wish I had that type of trajectory in my career.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the whole regime change. It never happens year 1. It's always year 2 that they kind of figure out where they're headed, and then they'll start building off of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, a little patience is still warranted for us as the Auburn family. I know that's easy to say. It's much harder to implement, even for me. I may try to play like I'm the one here that's all patient and stuff, but the camera goes off. You should see me. My wife has a front row seat to me during the away games and how I behave. So we all have our moments of impatience and wanting to see things work because we love this team. We love this school and we want everything to do well. And that's where the majority of the frustrations come from most of the time.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. That's why I watch down here and my wife takes the upstairs.
You have done the smart thing. She wants to watch with me for some reason. But you know, I don't know why. It's a miracle that she even comes to games with me. We got surprised with some tickets to the Iron Bowl last year together. And you can imagine how I behaved during that one with some Bammers sitting in front of me. I let them know a few things, of course.
Well, and then my wife's an Alabama fan too. So it's
oh, bless you, sir.
To her credit, she is the one that got me my Auburn jersey.
Well, that is fair. And that's a good wife right there. Listen, my mom is an Alabama fan. And what I found is it's always the quiet ones that are the worst ones because they walk around with this little smirk and you can't like do anything about it. Like it's your mom too. Like, what are you going to say to that? What are you going to do with that? Like, how do you fight that battle? You can't. There's no winning that battle. So I can't imagine for you with a wife, it's like, oh, how do I celebrate this? How do I, how do I be mad about this when she's got to celebrate too?
We just very calmly don't talk a lot after the game, and then we'll talk.
Do y'all have one of those house divided flags outside?
No, we don't.
I was about to say, do not let any part of that crimson grace the outside of your house. That's just trash.
She has a door hanger, but I have a very nice Auburn stepstone right by the front stairs.
Yep. All right. Tell me this. We're about to get a lot of content from our beat writers and other reporters starting even tomorrow, but especially starting Friday. What's the one thing that you think is going to surprise a lot of people that we see or that we start hearing discussed, whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, whether it's a certain thing that they're doing with practice? You got any like ideas about what might surprise you, what we might start finding out?
We saw it a little bit last year, but it never really got talked about as far as our defensive players and edge rushers specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Watching them drop into coverage, I think that's something that'll happen a little bit more in certain packages this year. And so you see Derek Hall line up. And again, we saw it in the Iron Bowl if you go back and rewatch and a couple of other games as well. When he's lined up on the edge, he looks like he's just coming like a scalded dog. And then off into a softer zone coverage. I'm okay with that. He's athletic enough to do that. I'm not so keen on somebody as big as Echo Leota doing that, but Derek Hall's roughly linebacker size. He's a prototypical NFL linebacker size playing on the edge. I think rotation on defense will be big this year. I think it'll rotate to the point that people are going, I haven't seen this guy but 5 plays and he's listed as a starter. That's okay with me. You're keeping fresh legs for the fourth quarter. You're going to need that. And if we're going to compete and win a lot of these games that people think we can't win, we're going to have fresh legs on defense. So don't be surprised if your favorite player is not playing every single down.
Absolutely. And I think that's honestly, I think that's probably a good thing. If you're not seeing us lean on some of these guys that we typically do so heavy, that means that the talent behind them has gotten better and worthy of giving them a breather. Especially if we run into a situation where we just can't figure out how to stop someone like Mississippi State. Like it felt like a just perpetual snowball, like where we couldn't figure out how to stop it from accumulating as it was rolling. And then we got to keep our best guys in there, the ones that are healthy, to figure out how to stop the bleeding. And then they're just getting worn out. And then by the time it's out of hand at that point. So more depth, more names out there, I think is going to be a good thing. So I'm excited, honestly, to answer my own question that I proposed to you. I'm just looking for that one name this year so that I can latch on to it and kind of see if it actually comes to fruition. Because last year it was Travaris Dawson that a lot of people were screaming about, like, oh man, this kid, and then it never came to fruition. So that's what I'm interested in, is that 1 or 2 names out of those first couple of weeks of practice that I can, all right, mark them down. Let's see what happens with them. What are these people seeing, and does it happen this time?
And I'll give you one guy on offense that within the first 2 weeks of fall camp, I expect to hear his name a lot, and it's Coy Moore.
I hope so. If Coy Moore is making waves, I'm gonna feel a lot better about wide receivers.
There's a couple of reports I've read and seen and heard from other people of him putting in some work late at night out there working.
Yep.
So that's a good thing is, you get your time during the day and people go, but then there's the, y'all, I know we're done. Y'all go ahead. I'm going to stay and work a little bit more.
Yep. That's a good thing you want to see. You always have one or two people doing those type of things, but when a collective, a larger group starts doing it together, that's the makings of something special. That's people understanding that not only do you need to do this, whether you're a champion already or not, that, this is more important for me to take this extra moment here to do some extra reps, extra study, extra bonding time, extra rapport that you build with your coaches and your teammates. So the guys that do that, if it becomes more than just one or two guys and becomes a collective, that's the makings of something special.
You're 100% right, buddy.
Last minute comments or questions, anything before you head out?
And that's it for the evening.
Well, I'm glad we got the connectivity stuff figured out. We always appreciate hearing your thoughts.
Absolutely. Guys, y'all have a good evening. War Eagle.
War Eagle to you as well, sir. Good to hear from you. All right, we got our next caller already lined up. We'll say hello to him in just a second. As a reminder, you can call in too if you are calling and you get if you're not being brought in right away. Just a reminder that sometimes that means there's a lineup. So just wait patiently and we'll get you in as soon as we can. We're not going to go super far over 9 o'clock tonight, but we're going to go longer than that as long as you guys are having a good time listening. Felix, good to see you. War Eagle, sir. But real quick before I bring him in, I want to remind you of our friends over at All Things Auburn. You want to, all things Auburn.net. You want to check them out for a place to stay in Auburn, not just a place to stay, but a place to have a full Auburn experience. All things Auburn.net. They will help make your Auburn experience one of a kind, including a place to stay not too far from the action that we all love of Jordan-Hare Stadium, Plainsman Park, Neville Arena. Yes, you got to get used to saying that. Everything in between, downtown, the campus, all things Auburn.net. Check out our friends there. They bring us the open call-in line, who we're going to talk to next on Mr. Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing, buddy?
War Eagle, how you doing?
War Eagle, buddy. I am doing very well. What is on your mind this Wednesday evening?
He was right about Robbie Ashford. They will have some package like Wildcat quarterback.
Yep.
And on 3rd and 1,
yeah,
he can run the ball.
He can. I don't know if I would find him on 3rd and 1 a lot, but I would be interested to see like in some more open field areas, maybe like the 30-40 yard line, just to kind of mix it up after we've already been on an extended. Let's play it out here. Let's say Zach Calzada led us from the other 20 and he needs just a breather. Let's bring Robbie Ashford in when we're about the 30-40, where he's got some room to use those legs, and get us a little bit closer. Now, you take your idea and flip it on its head a little bit, I could see us using TJ Finley on a 3rd and 1 because of his size. Let's go Cam Newton on there, So this may be a situation where Zach Calzada is the starter, but in certain packages you use TJ, in certain packages you use Robbie Ashford, because they all have a unique skill set. So I'd be super excited if we see all of them out there and get them involved with a primary guy, right?
Yeah. How about the special teams?
Special teams, I need to do a little bit more studying on them myself. I think we talked, not you, but I think we talked about this a little bit last live stream about who might be where in that case. I just feel like you're going to see some of the familiar faces to start off. Nehemiah Pritchett was one of them. The big debate we had last week was, would Tank Bigsby be on kickoff? I don't know.
I got number 18 jersey on.
I see that. And that is for, remind me again. Who? Kobe? Say that one more time.
Cody Burns.
Cody Burns. Okay. I thought so. I thought it was for Cody Burns, but you got to remember Seth Williams is also 18.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I think our tight ends will be good.
I hope so. John Samuel Shanker He is obviously the leader there. I'm excited. You know, the guy that I heard a player say this recently. I think it was John Samuel Shanker said, "Who's the guy at tight ends that nobody's paying attention to?" Brandon Frazier.
Yeah.
Brandon Frazier, I think, is going to be a guy that we need to really watch, not only this year, but as the leader once John Samuel Shanker leaves in a little bit.
How about
this
year. Tyler Fromm, Jake Fromm's brother?
No, yes. I mean, Tyler, we saw him make a big play last year. Wow. I mean, what a catch in the LSU game that between him and Bo and some other times too. It's not that I'm dismissing Tyler Fromm or Luke Deal would be another name there.
Yeah.
I just think I'm a little bit more excited for Brandon Frazier. No really solid reasons other than I just kind of liked what I saw at the 8A game, his size, and Luke and Tyler have been around for a little bit, so I've kind of gotten used to seeing them. But yeah, so
we got commitment today from Ashley Williams.
Yes, from Ashley Williams, this number 6 recruit for us. Do you think we get the guy on Friday? Offensive tackle. His name is, let me pull it up one more time for you. Connor Liu, unless I have the date wrong, but I believe he is committing on Friday evening. He is an offensive tackle, I believe. I could have that wrong, but I have it in my calendar.
I hope we get him. I hope we get that Georgia commit too.
Oh, yeah, the one we were talking about earlier, flipping over from Georgia. Listen, I think it's a great sign when you flip one recruit from a major program. And Nebraska's not a good team right now, right? But it is still a name that means something in college football. So when you say, I flipped this from Nebraska, that says something. If you flip somebody from Georgia, that's an even better sign. That's big business right there. That is big business.
And we got 2024 class too, a quarterback and
2 of them.
Corner.
Which one are you most excited about, the quarterback or the corner?
The quarterback.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I would. It'll be interesting to watch him over the next couple of seasons, see where he fits into all that. But hey, let's get him in early and keep him around early. I love that.
Are they starting practice on Friday?
On Friday. Tomorrow they report to campus. They report to the coaches. They'll do meetings, I'm sure, but their first practice will be on Friday, and the media will be covering it.
The Auburn men's basketball team in Israel?
Yes, and we did a live stream about it. We'll be doing 2 more after the next 2 games later this towards the end of this weekend. So we'll be doing those as well.
Okay.
So we played U20 this first game, which is like think about it as in Israel's freshmen and sophomores, essentially. Then we played this next one we're going to play. They're called All-Star Select Team, which is going to be like some of their professionals, like some of their best professionals, not the best. But then that last game, we're playing the national team. That is, that is going to be the good game, I think so. I have time for one more question because I actually have a couple people lined up ready to take over the phone call. So if you got one more question for me, let me have it.
Marcus Harris will do good on defense.
On defense, yeah, he could. He absolutely could. Listen, I'm just excited for us to get out there in the field and see what we can learn this week in terms of practice and stuff like that. I'm excited for football. I know you are too.
I hope I see you at one of the games this year too.
Kevin, we are going to make it happen, my friend. I promise. We'll make sure that
I got good tailgate tents where you can have good barbecue at.
I'm there, Kevin. Say no more. I'm going to Kevin's tailgate. That's it. Well, hey, buddy, thank you for calling in. We'll make it happen this season.
Bye.
Bye. All right. We do have 2 callers lined up right now, so please be patient. We're going to get you into the order that you came in. What am I saying? Anyway, we got a good crowd of people calling tonight. So let's go ahead and talk to another one of our regulars, Mr. Dusty. How you doing, sir?
What's up, brother?
Apparently, I can't talk.
Yeah, that was an interesting one to mess up.
That was listen, when you do this for a living, you're not supposed to mess this up, but somehow I do. So there you go. Anyway, what's on your mind?
Basketball.
I like a change of pace. Let me hear it. Let me hear what you got
basketball.
about
it. It was exciting, man. I really enjoyed seeing the new guys. And I don't know a lot about Israel's men's national team.
I don't either.
Nothing really, but I'm excited for the one Sunday because I feel like that's kind of the most even. Like, no disrespect to those guys, but they didn't have one guy that could drive the basket. I kind of felt bad for him.
There was one guy. I'm blanking on his. It wasn't Lavi, but I think his name started with an R, and I thought he was going to be the guy that was going to give us trouble the rest of the game, but obviously wasn't enough trouble. It was something that kind of got out of hand real quick, and I think we all expected a blowout, not to that level maybe, but it just kind of shows you what that team, the U20 team, is for Israel is compared to where Auburn's collegiate athletes are at this point. It's a little bit of a disparity there.
Well, I just, right now in the dead period, and baseball hung on as long as they could to give us some Auburn stuff. But this last month has been brutal, man. Just brutal. I've been working 7 days a week. I've worked 20-something days in a row because I just sit at the house watching old Auburn games. So I'm
bored out of your mind.
Yeah, I might as well go make some money. I don't need to watch the 1985 football season anymore.
Oh man. Well, I mean, let's be honest. We probably want to watch every bit of good football seasons that we can after last year and the way the off season went.
The one point I want to make about basketball before we go to football, is the thing that I liked, and this is going to be us taking the next step, because what we did in 2019, we just were so hot from three, and Jared and Bryce were just so good, and Chuma obviously was so good that's like lightning in a bottle in a way. I mean, those guys built up to that, but you're just not going to shoot that well from three without running a lot of plays. We've got to get better in the half court. I know it's not Bruce's strength. Listen, I love Bruce. I'm not, something like that. But every coach has their strengths and their weaknesses. Bruce is probably the best defensive coach in the country. We get easy buckets through that. Half court offense is just not his forte. It's not his best thing. And we get in times to where we're not getting those fast break buckets. And we're a team like Arkansas with Muzelman, another great coach. They forced us into stuff. Like Miami forced us into this half-court situation, and then we're not knocking down shots because, honestly, we're not getting good looks. A&M, the same situation in the SEC tournament. They forced us into a bunch of bad looks. So if we get better at that, and a thing, too, that always seems – no one talks about this, man, but, you see it with Kentucky, and you're kind of seeing it now with Auburn. The team that makes the run in the NCAA tournament are guys that have played together for a little bit and maybe have been to the tournament and had that exit the first weekend. It's just last year was all those guys' first time because you had the COVID situation in 2020. Then you had whatever in the world 2021 was with basketball. So, I mean, we couldn't have went to the postseason anyway. So, whatever with that. So this was those guys first, Dylan and all those guys, Wendell. This was their first time with all that as a team. We're going to get back there this year. That's kind of the standard with Bruce. He's just so good. It's an automatic 21 season unless disaster strikes. So we'll be there, and I'm excited because it's a nice mix of young and old. I really like Trey Donaldson a lot, and I wouldn't mind seeing him hitting receivers coming across the middle. Do it. But I'll leave. My brother wants me to shut up about that because he hates when I mess with the basketball. I wanted Malik to play running back.
Listen, I would love a world where we could have dual sport athletes in football and basketball. It's happened once, and it was I think I said this on the live stream last time. It was a Vanderbilt or a Tennessee player, and they played 5 minutes. It is hard to be a productive member of both, unless some weird circumstance happens. Listen, stranger things. If I always say this, if a Auburn player can run back a ball 109 yards, anything can happen. So
we're the team we're the school that can pull it off.
You're not wrong about that. I was going to ask you who stuck out to you the most of the new guys. Trey Donaldson. I found myself also in that camp as the game went on, kind of really liking what I saw at a Trey Donaldson, and it really wasn't in my mind anything super wasn't he made this player that. I liked the way he looked out there on the court in terms of his presence, just the way he carried himself out there. I liked that a lot. And I was kind of shocked how much I was impressed by him. Also impressed by Janai Broome. with his
Yeah,
versatility as a big man, getting a steal and going coast to coast with it. Granted, the competition probably not up to the level that he's faced before, but you still made the play and finished the play. So he blocked a couple of shots. I'm going to go ahead and pitch now that we call him not Janai Broom, Deny Broom.
I like that one.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Hashtag trademark pending.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's I like the mix. I like what the next game Sunday is the one I'm excited about. Because if the men's national team, they've got NBA players. I'm assuming they've played in tournaments and stuff together before. Like if they're as good as they should be, I don't expect us to win that game. So the one Sunday is the one that I'm looking forward to. I think it'll be the most even of the three.
Yeah,
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing, just how we react. I know Bruce is still gonna play everybody. He's trying to win, but it's not the focal point. Is he's trying to experiment and see what all he can get. So, it's last year was great. I think that we took another step as a program, having 2 guys drafted in the first round, having Jabari drafted so high. I mean, when you can say a guy fell to 3. You're doing something right with that. So
yeah.
I'm excited about just where everything is with that. But I think that this team this year won't win as many regular season games, but I think they are more ready for the tournament as long as everybody stays healthy and that kind of stuff. So, couldn't be more happy with where basketball is, and obviously bringing in another top man. It's just so crazy, dude. Like 8 or 9 years ago, you would have been happy if we signed the top 400 player.
Yeah.
And now we're out here getting top 30 guards, and it's just it's awesome, man. Bruce is the man. So we're basketball.
Enjoy it, Auburn fans.
Yes. We know that we got him for at least till 8 more years. So, and I think we'll get him longer than that, and then maybe they'll hand it over to Steven or however that'll work. But
who knows?
I'm excited for where we're at with basketball. I'm excited for where baseball's at. And then we start football Friday. So, we've talked about that ad nauseum. Just everyone knows what it is. Everyone knows where it's at. You've got a group of guys that have seen 4 and 8, that have seen themselves be predicted last in the SEC West. They couldn't be more disrespected. And history says that every single time Auburn is disrespected, no matter the sport, but especially in football, those are the years that not only do we like this year, I want 8 or 9 wins. And I'm not saying this to be the expectation, but when expectations are this low from the preseason media writers and stuff, Auburn goes to the national championship. I mean, it's just, or they have to cheat us out of it like they did in 04 or whatever. So, I believe in that stuff, man, because it's happened so many times. Like Auburn just performs better when there's not expectations. If we're starting off in the top 10, we're going 7-5 for sure.
Yeah. How many times does it have to happen before it's not a coincidence? Is kind of what you're saying.
It's just what it is. And then also just the way it all kind of lines up, man. Like Harsin came in with COVID restrictions, and that's the thing, because I follow recruiting. I like it. But that's one thing people need to really understand with this stuff is that this is kind of Harsin's really first time out on the recruiting trail, because you had all the COVID restrictions, and then he has to make relationships. And then he gets sabotaged by his own board of trustees. There's just a million things going on with it. And Connor Lew, I watched a thing where he said, I want to be a pilot. The aviation is his main thing. He wants to play football, but his main thing is the aviation. Well,
come on,
Auburn then. So
Auburn's got a new. I know this is not typical things that people know, but what he's referencing is Auburn has done a lot of investment into their aviation program, exponentially. And there was a time where it was going to die, not because it wasn't popular, just because they didn't think they could support it. But then they got partnered with Delta and stuff like that. I mean, their aviation program has taken off. And so if you think that we love talking about sports here, but this is a holistic view at things. These things do attract some of the best athletes. If you have good programs, there's a reason that some engineers that are still great athletes want to come to Auburn, is because they know they're going to have Auburn on their resume as their engineering program or their aviation program. So it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's going to be the key thing with this. And I know you got some money lined up, so I'll get out of here. But I'll comment on what Neil just said, and I'll ask you a question on that.
Yeah.
I think the potential for that is there. If Auburn is going to have a good season, the defense has to carry us. Obviously, the offense has to get better. Me and you specifically have talked time and time again about who is going to be this number one receiver. We're hoping it's Coy Moore, or whoever, but somebody needs to step up and be the number one. I anticipate better quarterback play this year, at least more consistent quarterback play. Because Bo, when he's high, LSU, and then when he's low, you get the Texas A&M game. So It's just, if we can get a little bit more consistency there, some guys step up, and we average 3.5 yards a carry in the SEC. That's not going to cut it. Everyone knows that's not going to cut it. Not with our backs, not with our line being as experienced as it is. So I'm looking for Nick Froms, an 850 boy from Navarre, Florida, to get in there and get a little bit more nasty this year than guys. It's a whole nother year together. Man, if Troxel and Council, if he can stay healthy, we need these guys to stay healthy. And so to me, if the offense can just be top 30, top 40-ish, we'll be okay. Obviously, win the turnover margin. That's the big thing. Win the turnover margin by like 2, and then get 10 points off those turnovers. Get you a field goal, get you a touchdown off those turnovers. Yeah. And when you have 8 home games compared to 4, you should come out all right. So I think you're going to see that, Neil. I really do. I think that the depth on the D line is really there. I think we can rotate a lot of guys. Thomas spoke to that earlier. We can rotate a lot of guys. I'm not worried at all about the defensive backfield. I know that there's some new names in there, but Puckett, you're going to see Wooten step up, a freshman. He's already making a lot of noise. He's already up to the second on the depth chart. So as a true freshman, and we know how this staff really enjoys. Yeah, sorry, y'all can hear the cat. I got him locked out. I'm sorry, Russell.
The things that happen on live streams are just weird, man.
He's only mad because I got the door locked. He's just gonna come in here and then try to go wild.
For the love of God, please feed that cat.
Yeah, but I think you'll see that, Neil, and then I'll ask, and to kind of feed off that, and I'll get out of here, buddy. How are you feeling about the defense? My biggest concern is linebacker, but if Papo stays healthy, then I think we're all good.
It's really health for me, like you just said. It's Papo's is a centerpiece to this thing, because if he's healthy, solid. Like, we're going to be so good in so many ways. Just from let me retake that back. It's not that Owen Papo, if he's not healthy, if he's not contributing, we're not going to have a great defense. But I just think he provides some stability that we need in that area. And if he's healthy, I feel really good about this. Outside of that, the talent that is there at defensive line, at edge, the talent that is still left over at defensive back, with the talent that is behind it. Is it ready? Maybe. Gonna have to find out real quick. But I just, there's this feeling I have about what's been waiting in the wind there at defense, especially behind the guys that we know of. That's what's got me excited. And so I do think that there's a feeling that this defense could be surprisingly nasty and surprisingly very good.
Kind of like with basketball. There's a nice blend of young and old. So to me, Jeff Smedding's got all the tools. I just don't know enough about him to know what it's going to be. So we're going to find out.
We are. Well, hey, buddy, I appreciate you calling in and talking with me tonight.
Yes, sir. War Eagle, brother.
War Eagle, man. Bye. All right, we got one more caller lined up. Let's say hello to him. It's been a while since we've talked to him. He is one of our Booster Club members, Mr. Felix. We finally got you in, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Kyle? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for your patience waiting there. I'm glad we got you in tonight.
Not a problem, man. I know you're extra busy. Everybody wants to talk about football. It's coming around the bend here. I'm so excited, man. I can hardly hold my hair together, man.
Well, hold your hair better together than I am right now, because mine's struggling.
Anyway, so yeah, man. I'm kind of like I understand the narrative with the O-line. I understand totally, but you know what? I think these guys that we have, the ones we got brought back, they got a chip on their shoulder, but they want to show us something from last year. Plus the guys that we got recruited in this year with the wide receivers and all that stuff. I think we're just gonna have a pretty daggone good year, man. I just don't believe in that at 6 or 7. I think, just hear me out.
Mhm.
I say 8. I say we're going to hit 8 with the bowl game. It might be a 9.
Yeah.
Maybe I might be looking through, blue and orange glasses, which probably I am. But but I mean, I'm just, I mean, it's just not what I think it's going to be. I
Yeah.
think Calzada got the guys going. I hate it for Finley. I really do, man. The young man has played his little heart out, and I mean, he's done all he could. I mean, and in the Georgia game, yes, he helped us out. He
Yeah.
was there for us, and all that. But I hate it, man. What do you think about the quarterback issue there?
I think the writing seems to be on the wall for who's going to be the starter. I think we've all known that from the day that he decided to come to Auburn. When Bo leaves and a big name like that in the SEC comes over, that's kind of the expectation, injury or not. The interesting thing about this is that you have two other capable. Well, at the time, you had one other capable quarterback in TJ Finley. You also had very shortly after that another guy being brought over in Robbie Ashford that just made this very, very interesting. And the great thing about all of them is they all have a particular. It's like the movie Taken. I have a certain set of skills that make me dangerous. That type of thing. I'm quoting movies tonight for some reason. This is what you're getting tonight.
I know that.
But honestly, I would say that, you've got TJ. It's pretty easy to put him in this archetype of the big, strong, big arm quarterback. You got Robbie, who's the, the fun and gun type of and run and gun type of quarterback. And you've got Zach, who seems like he fits somewhere in the middle of all that. So if you kind of take that for what it's worth, it kind of makes logical sense that Zach is the guy because he gives you maybe some of both worlds in that. The thing that I'm interested in is how they might utilize all three and in some way. Now, you've got to, in my mind, I hate playing ring around the rosy with quarterbacks. That was my biggest fear with bringing TJ into that Georgia State game was that what it did, because everybody was looking for a chance to hop on the I hate Bo train. And I thought it was going to feed that. Thankfully, Coach Harsin did a wonderful job, in my opinion, of handling that. So I hope that we as Auburn fans go into this year understanding there may be a starter, but also understanding Coach Harsin has proven if you're not getting done in a game, whether that's just for things out of your control or just because it's a bad game, I'm going to put the guy in and that gives us the best chance to win, and then we'll reassess. So I feel really confident with the options we have at quarterback, even if it is Zach Calzada that's the guy.
And speaking of Harsin, man, don't you see a lot like a big change? I mean, like the more you can see, the more human side, but it was like a robot, just no,
I get it, yeah.
But now he's got that more of I don't know, he's more in tune with all the whole team. Everybody's saying some great things, I mean, I'm sure they were before, but now they really, really hitting it hard, I've seen all the I guess the YouTube things where they was riding the boat and he was just taking along. Now that showed, the fun they have, all the everything they go through, and just that fun time they have together, that bonding, and that's what I really like the most. They're bonding together. Everybody's one, just like he's saying, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0.
Yep.
I believe in this team, man. I really do.
Yep, and it's it's funny to think about this way too, because I believe there's things that we're seeing more of on social media, whether it's, images of them out on the boat or just having fun together and stuff, were already happening. But I think it was apparent that the fans needed to see that. And so you've seen the push from the PR team to show this, we're doing these things, even if whether it was happening before, we'll never know. But, it's something that needed to be shown because Auburn's different. We preach about it, we say it, and it's true. There's a different feel about this because every team cares about their players and their team, but we're really a family. We want to see that special bond that
That's
the
right.
coach has with the players, that the long snapper has with the quarterback. I mean, one of the coolest things for me, this is not even football related, was the video before the season started that Jabari Smith did where they're just having fun dancing in front of a green screen, but it's him and two walls.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
they're cutting up like they're the three best play, like they're the triangle, you know, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you know, yeah, it's in front of a camera and they put it on for the camera, but you know, getting to know Jabari, you know, that's the type of guy he is, that this is
Oh,
not
sure.
about me. Yeah, I'm the guy that I know I'm the guy that has to take over at some point, but there's something different. Auburn attracts those type of people that want to be more than just an athlete, more than just another face that's been here and be a part of a team. And you're seeing at least a push to show us more, and maybe even more so of an effort to make that happen, that camaraderie, that feel good, that just all around type of situation that you want to kind of see and feel good about.
When they say they love their football team, we say we love Auburn. We don't
Yep.
say we love our football team. We don't say we love our tennis team. We say we love Auburn.
Right.
We
Right.
don't, and Spikes. I'm so proud of him getting on to the SEC,
Oh, I'm
the
so
board.
excited.
That is the man. I'm so blown back, and he's taking it just like one day at a time. The dude looks good. He's asking all the right questions. I just hope that he hangs on and stays in there. I
Yeah.
really do. I think that's something for him to do. But hey, man, I'll let you go and let you do your thing.
Appreciate it.
Boy, Eagle, this time.
War Eagle Felix, thank you for calling in, buddy. I want to hear from you more too. All right.
Not a problem.
All
Later.
right, man. Awesome. We heard from some of our regulars tonight, some new faces. We are at 9:04. You know, normally we go to 9, but as has been the case as of recently, I don't have to go anywhere in particular, so we can hang on for a little bit longer and talk, answer comments and questions. We've talked mainly about football tonight, but we've hit basketball and some other topics as well. If there's something in particular that you want discussed that we haven't, a different angle, or maybe I missed your comment, get it in again, and we'll cover some of those here. But let me go and do this part for you, because we always want to do this. Just a reminder to check out the links in the description for ways that you can help support our content. Those are some of the various ways in there. If you're looking for ways you can help contribute financially, had someone sign up, be a channel member here recently in the last couple of hours. So that was a very much appreciated $1 a month. Just hit the join button. It's also the booster club. Those are the two main things that we suggest, but you can do things like PayPal. You can do things like hitting the thanks button or a super chat here. Those are the financial things you can do. But the way you support us truly is just being here, watching a video, being part of a live stream, leaving a comment, listening to a podcast, subscribing. Those are the easy things that you can do. Those mean the world to us, because it means that you have chosen us to have your time consumed by us, because it's very valuable. Carrie, yes, you can call in, sir. The phone line is still open. It is pinned to the top of the chat if you'd like to have that. So please do call in. I have it still open for now, but we'll probably shut it down in a little bit. So go ahead and take advantage of it if you'd like to. So yes, those are the things that you can do. And obviously smashing the like button for this particular video is of huge, huge help. All right. Carrie brought up this. TJ is the first player to get an NIL deal with Amazon. People say that is crazy. It is kind of crazy. I mean, he's the first player to pull this type of thing off. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I didn't think it'd be happening, but it did. You just see NIL deals coming out the wazoo these days. It is a wild, wild west out there. All right. Imani had a little bit of a comment here. I like Brian Harsin, but he didn't prove that to me. He put Finley in because Georgia State would have been an embarrassing loss. I'm a Brian Harsin fan. Imani, that's a little confusing. Some of that there. I think if I can interpret it, you're just saying you are a fan of him, but he still has more to prove to you. And that Finley thing was kind of just because of a desperation move. Yeah, I think it was a desperation move. Bowen wasn't getting it done for whatever reason that game. And you try something. What else do you have to lose? So I think that it takes, for lack of a better term, cojones to do something like that. And it paid off. And it was a genius move after the fact. So yes, I think, there is still a lot to prove for Coach Harsin. There is still a lot to prove for certain players out there, for units, for the team at large. But Auburn, for whatever reason, as we talked about with some of our other callers, when the chips are down, when people don't expect them to win, for some reason they do. Now, that's not me prepping you to get disappointed, because I think you need to prepare yourself for the reality that it could be another, in most people's eyes, subpar year. There's a lot that could go wrong, but there is a lot that can go right. And if history is anything, that right stuff tends to come around these type of years. So let's just sit back. Let's take it 1-0 week at a time. We got a really fun 5 weeks at home in Auburn that are going to be a blast, a very hot blast. There's going to be a lot of hot blasts of air rolling through. I'm going to be sweating up a storm, but it's going to be fun. Carrie says, people said Harsin tried to change the culture, but the boosters didn't like that and tried to get him fired. And I always push this button. So again, Carrie, I'm not picking on you, but I still need, for those of y'all that are saying the boosters, I need the proof. I need you to provide. We can't just, we need to be better than most fans. Let's provide proof for what the boosters did. Everybody thinks that they know what they did, but nobody can provide me. This is what was said. This is what was done. Provide me with the proof for that. Now, into your comment about the culture change, yes, he did want to change the culture because you want your regime, your way of doing things in there. And with that comes growing pains, and there are going to be some frustrating things that happen because of that. Kyle, tell Austin his presence will be required during football. You may be happy about that very soon, my friend. We are in discussions. I think I can say this for Austin. We're in discussions for him to be more involved overall. And we're trying to make some schedules stuff line up right now. So Austin loves being here. It's been a bit of a fun time for him this summer with some career transition stuff. But I think we are getting close to where he can be here a little bit more often. Take that for what you will. Wit says, why aren't we hearing more about Landon King? I think he will make a huge impact. I've been hearing a lot about Landon King. Frankly, a lot of the players can't stop talking about Landon King. I am so excited about Landon King. Like, honestly, truly, I am. I think he is one of those rare hybrid tight end type of situations. You know what he reminds me of? This is going to be a real deep cut for a lot of y'all. Not deep, like, because it's modern time, but it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. There I go, referencing movies again tonight. Anthony Mix. Anybody else think about Anthony Mix when they think of Landon King? Kind of a bigger slot guy, very good at blocking, has the body to block, but comes up clutch to catch. People forget about that group of wide receivers that we had. Benjamin Obumanu, Devin Aromashu, Courtney Taylor. Anthony Mix was in the mix there too. Landon King is Anthony Mix. You heard it here first. Carrie says the Mercer game will most definitely be a win. We're going to blow them out like we did at Akron. Most likely. Of course, we thought that about Georgia State too. So I'm a little bit gun shy these days. It'll take a few years for me to like completely write off someone after the Georgia State game. Give your opinion about 2024 quarterback. I already kind of did that. I don't have a lot of opinions about him personally because I haven't even made a video about him yet if I'm going to do that. But just it's nice to get these guys in early, especially your quarterbacks, for building the future of your offense. That would be my only thought about that. Dusty says Mix, an 04 national champion in most people's eyes. In the correct people's eyes, yes, he is a national champion because it's not even worth getting into. It's going to make me upset. Do I think we're going to use Damari Alston? If we use Damari Alston more than the 4 games, that means there's some injury issues, which is not what we want. So I think Damari will be a fun, electric guy to see for 4 games, but only 4, but so he doesn't lose a red shirt. That's the future, along with Jarquez, but Jarquez is going to be used a lot. I think between Tank, Jarquez, Sean Jackson, we can get the job done. I hope. I think. Maybe. Jordan Ingram, too. People forget about him. Zach Calzada is the next. Adrian Posse. So how is he the next if he's already here? I've already got Adrian Posse as the next great college quarterback and NFL MVP. It's not even in college yet. Well, that is quite a bold prediction. David says that Anthony Mix was the biggest wasted talent in Auburn history. Interesting, because in my memory, and I could be wrong, he was utilized quite a bit. It's hard to find time to throw to Anthony Mix when you got Devin Aroma-Shadu and Obumanu and Courtney Taylor in the mix with you. I keep throwing that out there. If he was the biggest wasted talent, I think you would see. I think if that statement would fit a guy like Darius Slayton, who's killing it at the NFL level. And I guess, you can't always translate things completely over to NFL and college, but I thought Anthony Mix personally was utilized a lot. All right, we're going to go ahead and shut down the phone lines. We're not going away just yet, though, but we're going to go ahead and turn that off for now. We'll keep going with some of your comments and questions to round out our night. Corey, that was such a glorious night. Bama thought they would blow out Southern Miss that one time. I was watching that game live with some Bama fans. It was fun. Coy Moore did an interview, told someone we were going to have 2 1,000-yard receivers this year. If we do that, we are having an outstanding year. Coy Moore could be one of those. Well, let's play that game. Everybody, give me who are your 2 guys that have 1,000 yards or more? I think it gets tough after Coy Moore. Nothing against the guys that we have here. I just don't think anybody's proven that yet. Your best option is Cedric Jackson, and I'm not convinced right now that he can do that. And I love Shed. He's one of my favorite guys out there. So that being said, Coy Moore has your best shot at that. Outside of that, I don't know who to really pick. I mean, Landon King would probably be your best option, but I don't think he's going to get thrown to. I think it'll be a lot like Anthony Mix. That's why I make that. I think he meant Malcolm Johnson. Malcolm Johnson, I think is what you meant. Malcolm Johnson, maybe, but he hasn't been utilized a lot, so we'll see. Your clarification on Mix, yes, should have gotten more touches. I listen, we can make the case that Mix should have gotten more touches. You going to take the ball away from Devin Aroma-Shadu and Ben Obumanu and Courtney Taylor? I'm not. I think, Mix is one of those rare guys that understands his role and shuts his hole. I'm kidding. That understood his role and his place in this and was a integral part of that. Think about it this way. Cody Burns. Cody Burns, took one for the team and said, I will play whatever role, and became the first guy to score a touchdown in the championship game. Melvin Ray did the same thing in the championship game that we lost. I had one more comparison to that, and it is slipping my mind right now. Oh gosh. Terrell Zachary. He had some big moments, but not as big of moments as Darvin Adams, as Emory Blake, Philip Lutzenkirchen. Terrell Zachary is kind of one of those guys as well. Let's see. You guys are saying, I would argue we wasted Malik Willis. Did we though? I know I'm never going to be able to convince Dusty of that. He loves him some Malik Willis, and I do too. But I think we've covered that territory a lot. You just defending your boy Malik, and I get that. Javaris Johnson, maybe. We don't have JJ Pekeegs anymore. He wasn't a wide receiver. So let's see. Moore and Johnson, maybe so. All right. I think, hold on. Let's see. Duke Williams can't even behave. Jeez, no, he can't. Tank should have 1,200. Maybe so. I know I'm hitting all these rapid fire right here. All right. Here we go. I think I remember Steve making a comment recently, and he's kind of hitting the boosters angle, what I've been kind of pushing people to be more forward about proof and stuff like that. He says, hey, Kyle, the proof is simply the same boosters were lurking when we hired the high school coach in the 70s. The Tommy Tuberville debacle and hiring the second Notre Dame high school coach, Indy, in 2013. The meddling. But how is that proof? That's not proof, Steve. That is simply you speculating because you have a certain feeling towards a certain situation. So what I'm saying is I need someone to tell me I had a specific conversation with someone, direct knowledge, or I was there about these things. Otherwise, we're just speculating. Are you maybe right? Probably. Well, I shouldn't say probably. You could be right. But creating this division amongst people that are part of the Auburn family is not helping the situation. It's something that's needs to be let go of personally. That's just my opinion. And I'm probably wrong on that, but there's nothing really at this point. We've moved on from that situation. That has been rectified in the sense that Harsin is here, that Harsin survived whatever happened and why it happened. Just going on and on about that isn't going to help anything. And if you want the boosters gone, then you're going to have to stop accepting their money. So if you're willing to do that, then we can keep talking about that all day. But that is not proof, in my opinion. Grace says hi. Good to see you, Skywalker. Let's see here. Is who this is. Coy Moore and Camden Brown, the freshman. Oh, that's a name that I haven't heard a lot. But yeah, maybe he is one as well. But listen, if somebody gets 1,000 yards, one person, we're gonna have a good season. If two people get more than 1,000 yards, we're having a great season. And there's a lot up there for grabs. There's so much There's so much opportunity for so many players at so many positions on this team for this year. And that's what's got me excited. I walked into last year so concerned about some of the things that I felt were coming that a lot of people obviously weren't, prepared for. But yeah, it finally, kind of reared its ugly head and we had to deal with it. But with that being said, this year, while I think there are still some things that to be worked out, I do think that we are going to see a lot of surprises, a lot of good, maybe a few bad, but at some point we are really going to be surprised by what we see this year. Yes, we are about to wrap up High Fly. We have talked a lot about everything, quarterbacks, everything. You can kind of go back and watch some of that we've discussed. Yohan is a beast. Yes, he is. Yohan Traore basketball. He is an absolute beast. And I saw that Carrie's got some hospital stuff going on, so hope everything's going okay there. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much for being here and being part of the show. We will be live again next Monday. Lots to talk about after half a week of practice. You guys, I can't express this enough from the bottom of my heart for being part of our little family within the Auburn family. You guys are the best little family within the Auburn family. More videos coming out this week. Stay tuned, subscribe, all that stuff. We just broke 2,500 subscribers, or at least we did. There's probably going to be somebody that unsubscribes just to knock us for that now, but we broke 2,500 subscribers, which was a mark I was waiting for something. So get ready. I'm excited for what comes next. Thank you guys for being here tonight. See you on Wednesday or on Sunday and Monday for those live streams after the basketball game. Until then, War Eagle.